What if I told you a city overflowing with beauty, luxury, and prosperity vanished in a single morning? They had everything: wealth, power, fertile lands, and freedom to do whatever they pleased. But behind the luxury was a people so corrupt their cries reached the heavens. And God came down, not with an army, not with a flood, but with fire. This is not just a story of destruction, it's a story of judgment, mercy, of warning, and of a man who dared to ask God, "Will you really destroy the righteous with the wicked?" But before the fire fell, before the sky turned to flame, heaven listened. God remembered Abraham, and in mercy, he pulled one family from the fire. Long ago in the ancient lands of Canaan, two cities stood tall in the valley of the Jordan, Sodom and Gomorrah. Fertile and wealthy, the cities were lush, like the garden of the Lord, full of life and abundance, and travelers spoke of their luxury. But beneath their riches and beauty, darkness festered. Even the angels in heaven heard the cries, the pain, the injustice, the oppression, and so Yahweh came down to see it for himself. One hot afternoon, Abraham sat by the entrance of his tent in the oak groves of Mamre. As he looked up, he saw three beings standing nearby. These were not ordinary travelers. The three beings agreed, and Abraham rushed to prepare a feast: fresh bread, curds, milk, and a choice calf. He stood by them as they ate, honored to serve these heavenly guests.
The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great. Their sin is very grievous. I will go down to see whether they have done all that has been reported. If not, I will know.
My lord, will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous within the city, will you still destroy it? To kill the righteous with the wicked, treating them alike, shall not the judge of all the earth do right?
If I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake.
The sun lowered in the sky, the two angels approached the gates of Sodom, and the hour of judgment crept closer. As night fell over Sodom, the two angels arrived at the city gates. There sat Lot, Abraham's nephew, in the gateway of the city. He had chosen to live in Sodom years earlier, drawn by its wealth and fertile plains, despite its reputation for wickedness. When Lot saw the visitors, he rose and bowed low. But before they had gone to bed, a terrible sound echoed through the streets. Men of Sodom, young and old, from every part of the city surrounded the house. They beat on the door and shouted, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out so we may know them." Lot rushed outside and shut the door behind him. "Please, my brothers, do not do this wicked thing," he begged. But then, in a moment that has troubled readers for centuries, Lot made a horrifying offer. But the crowd only grew angrier. "Out of our way," they shouted. "This man came here as a foreigner, and now he wants to play the judge. We will treat you worse than them." They lunged at Lot to break down the door, but in that moment of terror, the strangers revealed their divine power. Lot ran out to find his sons-in-law. The men pledged to marry his daughters. "Hurry, leave this place. The Lord is about to destroy the city." But they laughed in his face. To them, it sounded like a joke. The idea of divine judgment seemed absurd in a city so confident in its wickedness. At dawn, the angels urged Lot again, "Hurry, take your wife and your two daughters and flee, or you will be swept away." But Lot lingered. Was it fear? Attachment to his home? Doubt? The text does not say, but he hesitated. Just as the sun rose over the land, Lot and his family fled toward the small town of Zor. Then it happened. The Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the heavens, not just on Sodom but also Gomorrah. But as they fled, Lot's wife turned back. She looked toward the city, her heart still tied to what she left behind. And in that single moment of disobedience and longing, something began to change. And what of today? We look at our world at cities filled with wealth and wonder, yet pulsing with arrogance, violence, and perversion. We see nations such as the US and Western countries once shaped by biblical values now embracing the very sins that marked Sodom. Jesus said, "Enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it."